Today, I want to explain why I don't go to church. Shalom, everyone. I'm Cantor from Tel Aviv, from Tiferet Yeshua congregation. Hang around till the end so I can send you a free book. Okay, before you get too crazy here, let me explain. The Greek word for church is kyriakon, and it's not found anywhere in the New Testament referring to the body of believers. The Greek word that is used is ekklesia. You've probably heard of that. Well, ekklesia means called out ones, and it was a common word in Greek culture, and we can even see its meaning in Acts 19, where it's used not referring to the body of believers. In verses 32, 39, and 41, the word is used referring to a city council that was actually quite hostile to believers. So, in a secular sense, it means those who are called out for a meeting, a gathering. In the biblical sense, it means those Jews and Gentiles called out from the world to the Messiah. Ekklesia is the equivalent of the Hebrew word kahal. In fact, they appear to even have the same root, kahal, ekklesia. And this is where we get the Hebrew word kehilah, or community. In the Hebrew New Testament, when Yeshua tells Simon Peter that he will build his church, it actually says, V'gam ani omer lecha, ki ata kefa ve'al hatzoh hazeh evnei et kehilati. I will build my kehilah, not church, congregation. In Israel today, a messianic congregation would be called a kehilah. Psalm 22, verse 22, it says, I will declare your name to my people. In the assembly, or kahal, I will praise you. When the writer of Hebrew quotes this verse, he doesn't use the Greek word kyriakon, or church. He uses ekklesia, or congregation. Kyriakon means belonging to the Lord. And to be clear, the Lord here is not necessarily Yeshua. We only find it in the New Testament twice, and never referring to an assembly. The word predates the New Covenant, and it could refer to belonging to a pagan or Greek god, or the temple of a pagan or Greek god. Unlike ekklesia, kyriakon often referred to a holy place or a temple, specifically the building, not the inhabitants. I'm sure you've all heard people say that the church is not the building, it's the people. Well, actually, kyriakon refers specifically to the building and not the people. The word wasn't used specifically for houses of worship in the New Testament until our friend Emperor Constantine in the 4th century. He had large buildings erected, such as St. Paul's Basilica and St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome. That was 300 years plus after the Ekklesia was birthed. One of the first English translations of the Bible is the Tyndale Bible in 1526, and they never used the word church. They always translated ekklesia correctly as congregation. Now, one reason was probably because they were familiar with Hebrew and Greek. Many earlier English translations were not from the original Hebrew and Greek, but from the Latin translation called the Vulgate, such as Wycliffe's Bible, where he actually does use the word church. Most other translations from that era also use congregation, not church. Not so, however, with our buddy King James. His version of the Bible, or the one that he authorized, demanded that the translators follow 15 different rules, one of which was that ekklesia must never be translated as congregation, but only as church. As to why he was so hung up on this, I don't know. Ron, why do you even care about this stuff, haggling over words? Listen, I see your point, and to be honest, I abhor religious spirits that get caught up in meaningless battles over words and minor doctrines. But for me, my passion is equipping people to present the gospel in its original Jewish context. Inviting Jews to church is like asking them to leave their Jewish heritage. When this word was chosen over kehilah, or congregation, it further separated the body of believers from her Jewish roots. However, the very first disciples met not only in homes, but in the temple courts. And you cannot get any more Jewish than meeting at the temple, the center of Jewish life in the 1st century. My goal is not to condemn people for using the word church, but simply to educate. The Greek word for church is simply not used in the New Testament, referring to believers. The word congregation or assembly is. I hope this video has been a blessing to you. To get my free ebook, The 15 Most Important Facts About the Israeli-Palestinian Conflict, just go to roncan.net/15facts and make sure the F is capitalized. This video has been brought to you by Tiferet Yeshua Congregation in Tel Aviv. For more information, please visit reachtelaviv.org and consider making a generous donation so we can continue to share the good news of Yeshua in Israel and bring you more of these videos every week. And make sure you subscribe. One other thing, please go to 35challenge.org. We are in the midst of a $35,000 challenge where two wonderful businessmen in America have committed to blessing our congregation with $35,000 to build a coffee house prayer center if we can raise the other $35,000. To get involved, go to 35challenge.org. We're nearly halfway there. Thank you and shalom.